Go ahead. Action.
Okay, ready? First of all, woo! Allard Barkhouse here, / Mr. Snakeye. What I'm going to do here today is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm going to teach the world how to tie a Snakeye Mayfly. Right here today. I call it the Snakeye Mayfly because it was through Snakeye that I became a fly fisherman. The first Snakeye, Tony and Jimmy, were nuts fly fishing. And a friend of my brother's took us to this really wild, crazy spot behind Sheet Harbor. But we caught one trout. And I told Jimmy about it. They said, I bet you the Mayfly comes on. I went back and my life changed forever. We walked up to the landing and there was millions of them. I have video of it. Millions of them. Like everywhere. And I had a cheap rod, a cheap line, 3 of us in one canoe. And we caught like 70 trout in an hour. And I've been going there ever since, and this will be my 50th year. 50th year going back there in a tent. You know, the little stove, the whole bit. Okay, so this is the Snakeye Mayfly. Now, first thing I use is a very small fly. It's a size 14 fly. So, you put the fly in the vise just far enough so that the point doesn't stick out, because you don't want it to catch on your this stuff. So, this is how everything that's on this fly is held on by this little piece of twine, and it's a charcoal gray, and my vise is so old that it's sort of a charcoal gray, which is basically covered. So you put it on like this, and the way you get it to stay is you wrap it over itself. Getting my friggin' vise right. You wrap it over itself, right? That's what keeps it on. So they go that far, a 1/4 of an inch. You come back, and now you're going to make the head of the fly. So it's just a bead. It's probably the most boring part. Every once in a while you got to lay your line down and just keep it right on there, go around. This will be the head of the fly when I'm done. So, anybody out there that hasn't tried fly fishing, I've been at it 40 years and I still haven't got it down. I'm really great at it until I get excited, and forget it. But man, you watch a guy out there that knows what he's doing, it's poetry. It's effortless. Yeah, but last year I was in for 11 days in a tent by myself in a canoe. I had 5 days at 3 and 3. I got 81 trout. I don't keep them. I keep a little one. And, okay, see, there's the head of the fly built up like that. So now you just start winding back towards the tail. So you come back and you keep a little tension on this string and you wrap it that. See what the tension pulls the threads tight together. Get just a little bit before the curve. Figure. A little bit before the curve. You snip it. And now, there. That's the line that holds everything on. Come back. Right where it starts to curve, okay? Right there where it starts to curve. So you stop right about there. And then I use, it's called a moose hair. And this is a moose hair. This is from the body of a moose. And the reason why we use the moose hair is because it's hollow, right? This is taken from the back of a moose. Probably a Cape Breton moose, but I would assume. Then, okay, so you take the 2 moose hairs, you put them between your fingers, you line them up so they're pretty well even, right? Now this is the hardest part of tie flying of all. I've always asked, how do you get everything to stay on the top? This is how, it's in your fingers. So you grip Well, first of all, first you gotta snip this because it's too hard to do. Snip it. Say it, put an inch or so out the back. Here's the part. Squeeze it. Bring the line up, straight down. Let it slip through your fingers. And there it is. See that? There is that's the tail. Mayfly tail. Two little things out the back, right? There it is, and it's on. So now what you do is you wrap it on, you head towards the front again. You wrap it so far, and then you snip it, right? The last thing you do is trim everything up, so sometimes if things are sticking out here and there, okay, you go all the way up to the head, and then a little back about a third of this distance, right, about a quarter of an inch. Now, this is called peacock hurl. I call it knurl, it's hurl, you can see, but I don't want the glitter, so when I first started tying these flies, I used to take one little strand at a time and scrape it off and get up in my fingers, one at a time, and you need two, each one. And old fella Irvin said, get some Javax, get some water, put it in the water and swish it around, boom. So now I'm going to pick two of these. The thicker the better. There's one. Get one that's loose. There's two. There you go. Trim it up now, okay? This is the peacock knurl. So I got to make sure that it's proper. This one here has got a little bit of, see that little short one there? You don't want that on there. So this is a peacock knurl. Hurl. You line them up as tight as you can together. Put them in your fingers like that, right? Lined up like that with that much sticking out. Once again, it's all in the fingers. Oh, get them over this. Squeeze it tight. Let it go. There you are. That's somehow that little, just line up, right? The line up and right down. Everything's squished in the middle, pull it straight down. And I couldn't believe it and man, that, you think that's easy, it looks easy? It's not. I felt like an idiot for years. So you just trim it. Now, come around and around. Wind it around. Coming around, taking towards the tail. This is the body, right? Then you go back. You want to make it really thick. It's starting to look like a mayfly now. Hold it there. You don't realize, but everything I do, I'm always keeping pressure on it. Because you lack off, it'll back right off on you. So, trim it again. See how that's looking like a mayfly so far? All we need is his wings and his legs. Bring it back. This is the hard part. You really got to get it right. About 1/3 of that distance. Right about there. Maybe a little teeny bit more. Okay? Now, this is a Canada goose feather, which is almost exactly the color of a mayfly. It's right here. Right here. Right? So, you take a piece off of this. I'd say, excuse me, a little more than an eighth of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch even. You snip it, pull it out, line it up. Once again, up, down. I do it a couple times. Look at that. The Snakeye Mayfly is coming together. I couldn't believe it when I went in there. It was like, you know those fish hatcheries where they throw the fish in, and feed it, and it bubbles? It was literally like that. Last year I had a coyote. 2 coyotes showed up about 4 o'clock in the morning, walking by, right by my tent, right like a foot from my head. I'm all by myself back in there, 70 years old, all in there alone, all by myself. My heart was pounding. They walked away, and then I heard one coming right up, and he was right there, and he pawed the tent. I could see the imprint of his paw. Oh, and I was, I had a couple of edibles earlier that day, and oh God, I got a 19-inch trout last year. It was a sunny day, and usually there's not much fishing, so I said I'm going to just grab my canoe, roll a couple of joints, maybe have an edible, and cruise around the lake. And I came on to the island, the little island. I thought I'd go around it, and I looked, and they were splashing, literally a foot, 2 feet from the floor, from the shore. The flies were falling off the bushes. Got my line out, bam! Oh, hooked into a just over 19-inch trout. I had him right into the boat 3 times. He was gone. 2-pound test line. There's no. I had a friend in there, and he got one on. He went. No. Stop it! I won't mention any names. But yeah, no. Anyway, what an experience. Okay, so look at that. Sitting right up. I'll trim it up later. But you keep working it this way every time you get a chance. And those, I fix them up. Now you trim this. Kind of wrap it, get it out of the way. See how that fixes that up? Now you come right back, right next to the fly. And then you go to this. It's called a saddle. Right? It's worth about $100. It's a rooster grown in India because it's dry, especially for this purpose. Some of those feathers are like 18 inches long. Some of them are like that long, right? So I'm trying looking for a little one. There's one. Okay, so now I got that's one feather out of that saddle. I usually take this part here and just snip it off because it's kind of yucky. Now, this is really hard to catch on. You gotta pull back, and you gotta put a little pressure on. Keep the pressure equal. It won't go right. And sometimes you might pull a little harder on one. See what's happening there? Look at that. There. You clean off the last half of an inch. And here we go. Now, you take that, and you gotta put it right up against the wing there, otherwise it'll flop around you. Right there, roll over it, pull it down towards the head, come back, so you go down, and roll back further than that. In this case, just a little 1/16 of an inch from a 1/16 of an inch away from this fly, because this is going to go in there anyways. Trim that. Okay, now, I don't know why it stays at 90 degrees. I don't know why it doesn't go crooked. You take that, don't be afraid, pull that wing back, one behind, one, keep it as close to the wing as you can, not too close because you'll pull the wing down, two, literally it's 2.5 really, 2.5 rinds. Oh, don't you dare let go of me now. Again. Again. Okay, so now you got it on, right? Right? So you just hold on. So you just wrapped around, took it around, about 3 or 4 times. And now you just got to get rid of it without cutting your line. I did it now. I'm awfully shaky, so you goddamn thing. Now you got to get right next to the. Oh, you're fucking shaky. Okay, so you trim it a bit. All that stuff I get later on when it's done. So there, that's what represents the legs on the, so now you just wrap that up out of the way, right? Now, when you're wrapping it up, I'm working back towards, I work the thread back this way as far as I can, because this is the most, this part here, when I started tying flies this year, I could not remember how to do it. I couldn't remember. It would fall off, the thread would fall off, and then all of a sudden one day, I got it right and I didn't know what I did. So I was still freaked. Then I finally found out what it was I was doing wrong. So now what I do, because I'm left-handed, is I take the vise and I turn it around. I don't know if that's going to put it out of the way of the camera or not. Okay. This is the way I tie a knot. This is the hardest part of all, you guys. Okay, so I take it and I turn it, and I tip the fly up a bit, so the head's up a bit, so the thread was, oh, and then I very carefully need some more. I need more of this. Now, you'll never get this in one lesson. It's a whip finisher, and it's some kind of a mathematical device, an engineering thing. And you do this. You put one in there. There. You see, you've got a triangle now. Oh, have it. 2, 3, 4. Pull it down. Pull it up. Boom. Now I'm going to come back to the other side again. So now it's tied on. Right? So all you do is snip it. Okay? So I just right up in there. Trim it up. Yeah. And then what you do is you just prip it up, right? Pull it and fly up a little bit. I take it and I look at it straight on, and you just, what you want to do is you're making sure that the wing is straight over the hook. So you turn it and you pull it that way. And then now you got to fix these back ones out, so you just got to play with them. There. There. He's done. Now, you got to snip them. Like that, like that. And this is called head cement, right? So you just put it on. I usually put it on a couple times. This just makes sure that everything stays in place. Nice little bead like that. Just got them, and there you have it. Right? After that dries, I take my little needle and I poke out the eye just to make sure. There. That's the Snakeye Mayfly, right? And if you want to buy them, it's called Fish and Fever, Barrington Street, North End. Wow. Isn't that cool? Man, you put that out there, you lay that out there. I had a guy, I went back a couple years ago, and everybody on the lake had bought some of my flies, and one guy got 21 trout on one fly. Unheard of. So, okay, that's it, right? Check out my Allard on YouTube. A lot of snake eye stuff on there. Gotta plug that forever, right? Okay, take care. Bye.